Now that we have made it to the middle of the season, that means it is trade deadline time here in Season 1 of the Cleveland Browns franchise here on Madden 26. Kind of fitting that it's perfectly placed right during our bye week. It gives us a real shot to assess where we're at. Hint, hint, not very good at 2-6. But the team's been playing some better football over the last couple of weeks. We've won 2 of our last 3. In the last episode, losing a close one against the Dolphins, and then going on the road in New England to come from behind and beat the Patriots 25-17. At 2-6, it's pretty obvious that this team is not positioned to contend in the AFC, but it is good to see us really showing some signs of life over these last couple of weeks, which speaks to the job that head coach Puma Whitlock is doing, and that the guys on the team are not necessarily laying down and quitting after our 0-5 start. Storylines in the zone. You know who's been in the zone seemingly the entire year? Myles Garrett, who has 12 sacks, but this actually has nothing to do with him. It's David Njoku. Is he stopping in to find out he's getting traded? I mean, it could make sense. He's on the final year of his deal. He had another player at his position drafted in the 3rd round. But based on this conversation with him and head coach Puma Whitlock, it seems like Njoku might be sticking around. I definitely want to focus on receptions with him, specifically his hands. He's got to be able to catch the ball. Harold Fannin hasn't been able to get open. Njoku has been, but he has not been able to catch the football. But based on this conversation, it does seem like David Njoku is sticking around. And as I think about it, I believe it really makes sense to try to keep him on the team with a contract extension. Sure, he's 29 years old. He's not getting any younger, but he's playing some good football. He currently has his highest yards per game. He's pretty close to a career high in touchdowns. He's a guy who's gotten better with age throughout his career, and with Harold Fannin not quite as ready as we thought, keeping Njoku around, I think, makes more sense with a probably 2-year extension as opposed to trading him for, a 4th-round draft pick? Maybe? So I want to extend him and try to keep him and Harold Fannin together, continue to run more 12 personnel as we look to develop Fannin. I think we're going to offer him a 2-year deal that certainly would favor his pockets. We're going to go very player-friendly, roughly $28 million total. I'm starting to like the offer, but I'm unsure if this team gets me the future I'm looking for. Well, maybe we need to change our mind and trade him. It does seem like he's intrigued by the offer, though, so we're in a good spot with him at the moment, and I think we'll be able to extend him hopefully before the end of the year, and if not, there is always the possibility for the franchise tag as well. There are a number of other veterans who are nearing the end of their contracts who could make sense as trade candidates. I look at Joel Bitonio, a guy who has spent his entire career with the Cleveland Browns. He's in his 12th NFL season and never really has gotten a chance to, win. He's been around for one playoff win with the Browns, and as much as we would love to have him retire in Cleveland, I also think we kind of owe him the opportunity to contend for a Super Bowl. Even at 33 years old, the 7-time Pro Bowler has not regressed in terms of play, and given that he's on the final year of his deal, it's not a long-term investment for whoever is acquiring him, and it's not a big cap hold for us trading him away. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the perfect spot. They have a hole at left guard. We're going to get a 5th rounder in this year's draft, and then we're going to swap a 7th rounder next year for a 6th. So we're moving up next year. We're getting a pick this year. I think this is fair value for a guy who's 33 years old. But it's going to seem weird not having Joel Bitonio around. He's the longest tenured player on the roster. He's been with the Browns for well over a decade now. And he will be playing in Tampa Bay for the remainder of the year, looking to potentially chase a title with Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. Our other move will be Jerome Baker going to the Los Angeles Chargers for a 4th rounder. Baker, a first-time team captain, has had a career season. He has really elevated his play. At 28 years old, he's never looked this good. Especially that game in London against the Vikings. He had 19 tackles, 7 for a loss, and an interception. He's also expiring at the end of the year, and his contract demands have gone up, given how well he's played. So he's going to go to the Chargers for a 4th. His value definitely was a lot lower than that going into the year, but with how well he's played, we're going to capitalize on his value, while the Chargers, who are one of the best teams in the AFC, add another player to the linebacker room. There are a number of notable guys who are due for extensions who we did not trade away here. Wyatt Teller and Tevin Jenkins at guard. Jerome Ford at running back. Greg Newsome in the secondary. Asante Samuel Jr. as well. All of those guys we're keeping around, and we'll talk more contract stuff with some of them later. First, let's go through some moves across the rest of the NFL. Bobby Wagner, a reunion. He's going to the Los Angeles Rams for a 5th rounder. The Commanders have been one of the most disappointing teams in the league this year. The Rams, meanwhile, are sitting pretty. They're currently in first place in the NFC West. They also had that Atlanta pick, and the Falcons are not doing too hot. Currently projected 7th. Could the Rams potentially have the ammo with 2 number 1 picks to move up for a quarterback? Speaking of reunions, Von Miller to the Broncos for a 7. The Commanders are offloading some of these older defensive players. DJ Reader in a 7, going to the Chargers for a 5th. The Lions have been one of the most disappointing teams in the league this year. They're not going to completely tear down the farm. They shouldn't. But they are going to send away DJ Reader and add a 5th rounder. Mark Andrews is being traded from the Ravens to the Bucs. Seems like a crazy idea. The Ravens had the best record in the league at 7-0. So why are they trading away a 90 overall player? Well, both him and Isaiah Likely are expiring at the end of the year, and I think given age and even recent performance, they would prefer Likely in the long term. The Buccaneers have a major hole at tight end, but they don't really need Jalen McMillan. With re-signing Chris Godwin and drafting Emeka Ibuka in the 1st round, the Ravens could use another receiver, though. DeAndre Hopkins is not sticking around forever. So Mark Andrews for Jalen McMillan in a 6th. I think this trade makes a lot of sense for both sides. The Buccaneers get a rental who's going to help them out. The Ravens get a long-term piece. The Ravens will also be adding Demario Davis from the New Orleans Saints for a 5th rounder. Baltimore could use one more piece on that defense, and why not get a guy who's been one of the best players at his position for well over a decade? Last but not least, I will be putting Micah Parsons on the Packers. I've been bullied to do this, and my lawyer has instructed that I have no further comments on the matter, so I will not speak on it. There's your trade deadline across the NFL. With our 2 moves, trading away Joel Bitonio and Jerome Baker, we do have 2 open spots on the roster. We're going to start with linebacker Edefuan Olufoshio from the 49ers practice squad. I liked him at the University of Washington. I mean, I didn't like that he was on Washington. Let's go Ducks. But I thought he was a good player for them, and I think he'll be a good fit for the linebacker room. We're not done. Poaching away from the Niners, Connor Colby, an undrafted rookie guard from Iowa, will be added to the team as well. The plan is that Tevin Jenkins will start at left guard. Zach Zinner will be the main backup. And then we have Connor Colby in as the emergency guard as well. We're going to make another move, though, at the wide receiver position. I think the receiver spot has been the biggest weakness on the team this year. We really haven't gotten anything out of Deontay Johnson. He has not provided as a veteran presence. He has not been all that good. There is no trade value for him. It's not like we could have gotten a draft pick. We're going to sign Jahan Dotson, who did not make the final roster in Philadelphia. He was supposed to be the wide receiver 3, but I guess he did not have a very good camp. I don't know if he's going to play a lot right away as we get him used to the playbook, but I could see him having a bigger role later in the year. For now, Jerry Jeudy will obviously be the 1. Jamari Thrash, I guess, will be the de facto number 2. I think he's played quite well as of recent, and then, of course, we'll see Cedric Tillman. We'll see Isaiah Bond some more, and then eventually Jahan Dotson. Here is our Week 9 weekly recap. No game for the Browns. We are on bye. We will start in Cincinnati. The 5-3 Bengals against the 4-3 Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams with an impressive throw on the run in the corner of the end zone for a score by the rookie Lufer Burden as the Bears win it 20-14. Only in the video game can the Bears win and not hilariously fall on their face. Next up, Kansas City and Buffalo. Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. The Chiefs started the year 0-5, but have since won 3 in a row. The win streak, however, comes to a close. Josh Allen leads the charge for the Bills with this touchdown by Dalton Kincaid, 24-20 on the backs of a 3-score game through the air for Josh Allen. And then finally, we head to the Meadowlands. The biggest story in the NFL this year has to be the New York Giants and the fact that they have found a franchise quarterback. Jackson Dart has looked anything but a rookie this year. In terms of his overall poise and consistency, very similar to Jaden Daniels last year. This touchdown by Wan'Dale Robinson propels the Giants over the Niners despite a good game from Mac Jones playing for the injured Brock Purdy. The Niners once again have gotten absolutely ravished by injuries. No Trent Williams, no Christian McCaffrey, no Michael Williams, no Brock Purdy. Tough sledding in San Francisco. As we take a look at our scores across the league here in Week 9, the Ravens remain undefeated with a close win against the Dolphins. The Raiders lose to the Jags 13-10. Jacksonville cannot stop winning, unfortunately. As for your players of the week, despite the loss, Mac Jones, along with Derrick Henry, Jordan Howden with 2 interceptions and a pick 6, and then Josh Hines-Allen. Into Week 10, we're headed to the Big Apple now to face off against the New York Jets. Both teams coming off a bye week. Both teams 2-6. An early season tank bowl, if you will. Both of these teams projected to finish at the very top of the draft. Both teams may very well be in the market for a quarterback. The season ended today. The Jets would pick second, and the Browns would pick third. Given where we are in this quarterback class, that would give both teams the opportunity to pick one. It seems like Kieran Riddle is starting to separate himself as the number 1 pick. In this scenario, we would probably only have one of Brennan Holloway or Zarius Stone on the board for us. So the decision at that point would be, would we want the quarterback or would we want the best position player in the draft? So it's been kind of a weird year for the Jets. They scored 35 against an awesome Denver defense in Week 6. Since then, they have only scored 6 points over their last 2 games against 2 of the worst defenses in the NFL, Carolina and Cincinnati. They lost to the Bengals 40-3. They have a short week this week as well. So momentum really is not there for the Jets. They have not scored a touchdown in a month. Justin Fields, of course, leads the way at quarterback, the reclamation project for the Jets this offseason, and it has not really happened. He hasn't been awful. He's pushing the ball downfield a little bit more as a passer, but he hasn't exactly conducted a well-oiled machine. Again, the Jets have only scored 6 points over the last 2 weeks against 2 very bad defenses. Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, of course, are quite good. Garrett Wilson extended in the offseason. Breece Hall recently given a new deal as well. Defensively, they are a little stronger. Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, Jamian Sherwood, Quincy Williams, Will McDonald. They've got some fun players on that side of the ball, and I do really like the offensive line with Olu Fashanu and Armand Membu as the bookend tackles. We do have some good news and bad news on the injury front. We'll start with the good news. Greg Newsome, who got injured back in Week 6 against the Steelers, is back. I thought it would take him a little bit longer to return. I'm impressed that he has been able to get back this quickly, and I think it says a lot about Greg Newsome to want to come back this quickly. I mean, he doesn't exactly have a reason to want to be out there. Our team is 2-6. It's a contract year for him. He's probably focused on getting a new extension, but he wants to be out there on the field playing with his teammates. That's the type of guy I want to build this thing around. 3 years, $37.5 million. He says yes. Greg Newsome has been extended. I think his willingness and toughness to come back early from this injury, again, shows exactly what we're trying to build here. And I think he's had a pretty good year and has earned that extension. So that's the good news injury-wise. The bad news is Rex Sunahara, the long snapper, got hurt in practice. Well, we kind of need a long snapper out there. Evan Deckers is the only one available in free agency, so that makes our decision pretty easy. He will be the long snapper for the next couple of weeks, and we are going to have to cut someone, so we're going to send Justin Shorter down to the practice squad. Ideally, we'll have him back on the roster within the next couple of weeks. There's a lot riding on this game in terms of draft position. One may want to call this a tank bowl. However, both of these head coaches know establishing a winning culture and a winning foundation is a lot more important than a few extra positions of draft capital. So I know head coaches Puma Whitlock and Aaron Glenn, especially for this being each of their first years, are going to have these boys coming out right, especially with both teams coming off of bye weeks a week ago. Fields on the read option, gets by Channing Tindall, and Fields gets it past the 50. We know he is electric as a runner, getting it to the 44. We're going to see some new faces at linebacker, including Tindall. with the loss of Jerome Baker now with the Chargers. As Breece Hall gets it, looks to go to the outside and is wrapped up by the $37 million man, Greg Newsome. He's willing to tackle and do the dirty work in the run game. Again, another reason why he's the type of player we're looking to build this around. Fields on the scramble inside the red zone, nearly takes a big hit from Rayshawn Jenkins laying out the shoulder. Breece Hall, Superman, dives into the end zone, and for the first time in a month, since all the way back in Week 6, the Jets have found the end zone. A 7-0 lead for New York. They march right down the field, not exactly the start out of the bye that we were hoping for. On the return, Cameron Mitchell fumbles the ball, and it's picked up by the Jets. Tony Adams recovers the fumble forced by Quincy Williams, and the Jets are going to start with it at the opposing 25-yard line. Fields on first down, surveys the field. On the run, he's got his man, Allen Lazard, to the 1. That was a pitiful display from the pass rush. He had like 6-7 seconds to throw the ball. The secondary could only do so much there, and to make matters worse, Myles Garrett is banged up. This really has been a disastrous start. And off to the fullback. There we go. Mason Graham brings him down for a loss of a yard. 2nd and goal. Fields, corner of the end zone. It's caught. Mason Taylor, the rookie tight end out of LSU. And the Jets lead it 14-0. A horrible open to this game for the Browns. And our offense hasn't even recorded a snap. 3rd and 7. Flacco connects with Jamari Thrash up the field. Past the 50. Jamari Thrash continues to really impress. He has been dangerous with the ball in his hands. He clearly has been the second best player in the wide receiver room other than Jerry Jeudy. And to be honest, he's a lot closer to Jeudy than the others are to him. As Jeudy makes a nice 3rd down catch. Could have gotten a lot more there, but the throw was offline from Joe Flacco. Here's Quinshon Judkins. Woo! Juke move. Judkins with blocks. He gains 17 yards. I think it's only a matter of time until he really gets going, as his touches by the week have gone up and up. Flacco incomplete. I think Thrash was going to be open and it was the right read, but he threw the ball too early, and he's lucky it was not intercepted. We're going to go for the field goal, 4th and 3 at the 9. I thought about going for it, but I don't really trust this team in short yardage spots. So Hopkins drills it from 26, and that will make it 14-3. Jets have it back, 2 to go in the first, as Fields looks to throw it. Dances around, he's got Garrett Wilson, who gets it near the 50, wrapped up by Asante Samuel Jr. Justin Fields has been surgical throwing the ball so far as he's 4 for 5. Under 30 seconds left in the quarter, 3rd and 5. Hall in motion, he gets it, but will not gain much. Samuel and Grant Delpit bring him down as the Browns get the stop. And finally, the defense is able to make the play, although the last touchdown wasn't entirely their fault in the sense of field position, I guess, but still, not a very good start. The defense has not been good. The special teams has not been good. The offense has been fine. I mean, they've only had 1 drive, so it's hard to really blame them for only having 3 points. As we move into the 2nd and 4, it's going to be a jet sweep, and Tillman loses 5. Will McDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O, no, he plays for the Jets. Poor guy. 3rd and 9, Flacco looks to throw it under pressure, off the blitz. That's Jamie Sherwood in the backfield. As New York is able to get the stop, they'll get it back on offense. 2nd and 10 at the 30. Field steps up, scrambles, looks to run with it, and slides for the first down at the 43-yard line. Fields continues to be a true dual threat, effective on the ground, effective through the air as he looks to scramble with it again. Fumble! Ball still on the ground, and it's eventually picked up. Devin Bush recovers the fumble, forced out on the big hit by Rayshawn Jenkins. A massive momentum boost for a Cleveland Browns team who certainly needed a spark. We've looked pretty lifeless out there overall today. Fields gets the boom! That might have been 5 big booms on the hit by Jenkins. And now the Browns with it at midfield with a chance to make it a 1-score game. 3rd and 3, it's Njoku. Sends Sauce to the shadow realm, followed by a juke move and a gain of around 18. There's a reason why we did not trade him away at the deadline, even though we could have gotten a 4th-round draft pick. He's a guy I want to extend for plays like that. Sampson with plenty of room up the field. It's a gain of around 11. Dylan Sampson has the Browns very close to the end zone. 2nd and goal. Flacco looks to throw it, lobs it up, and it's caught. David Njoku with the score, and it's a one-possession game. That was a risky decision because Sherwood was kind of in the area. Flacco lobbed it up to where Sherwood would have no chance to touch the ball, and the worst-case scenario would have been an incompletion. A bullet pass could have potentially led to a turnover. Njoku's 5th score this season. Remember, his career high was 6 a couple years ago. And so it's 14-10 from the 26. Play action. Fields is wrapped up. Malik Collins in the backfield, not phased by the fake handoff, as that'll make it a 3rd down and 5. Fields an empty, looks to throw it, wants it all. 1-on-1, Wilson and Ward, broken away. The Warden got a hand on it. Couple of Buckeyes battling it out. And Denzel Ward, who had the clinching interception in the win a couple of weeks ago against New England, is the one who makes the play. 2nd and 20, Flacco has Isaiah Bond. I'm impressed he held on. His first career reception in the NFL goes for a gain of 5. 3rd and 15, Flacco hit as he throws. It's caught by Thrash, who gets around 4. Quinnen Williams with the pressure. As the Jets get the stop, they'll get it back on offense. From the 18-yard line, Fields steps up, scrambles, looks to run. Fields gets the first down to the 30. 6 carries, 89 yards in the first half for Justin Fields. As Mason Taylor, the rookie, is in motion. Play action for Hall. Fields under pressure on the blitz. He's sacked. Devin Bush has had himself the first half. Had the big fumble recovery earlier. Now in the backfield to bring down Fields. The Jets are burning clock. They don't have a lot of confidence in their offense. As Fields throws it up, it's broken away. That was in Lazard's hands, perfectly in the bucket, but he dropped it. 3rd and 18, Fields looking deep. It is broken away again. Delpit with the original hit on Garrett Wilson. Justin Fields started the game 5 of 6, but he has not thrown a completion in the second quarter. Njoku hauls that one into the 28. Moss, St. Jamie, and Sherwood. The Browns are in field goal range. I'm sure they love more than 3, though. 3rd and 5 up the middle. It's caught. Jerry Jeudy to the 9. Cleveland uses their 3rd and final timeout. We still do have some time, though, on the clock. 7 seconds left. That's enough to go for the end zone. Flacco scrambles. He'll throw it away. We're just going to play it safe. Yes, Judkins was open, but he easily could have been tackled in the field of play, and that would have ended the half. Nobody was open in the end zone, and we figured if that was the case, we're just going to throw it away. 26-yarder for Hopkins. The kick is blocked. Brandon Stevens got a hand on it, and the Browns are held off the board to end the first half. 14-10 lead for the Jets. The special teams comes up big for New York, and an exciting first half. A lot of big plays defensively on special teams. Plenty of turnovers as we take a look at our halftime report across the rest of the NFL. We'll start in Indianapolis. The Colts started the year 2-0, but since then they have completely fallen off the face of the earth. Michael Penix connecting with the 101 in everyone's fantasy draft. Kyle Pitts with the stiff arm. Falcons win 24-10. Raiders and Broncos, both teams needing a win in a very competitive AFC wildcard race. But it's Geno Smith leading Las Vegas on the road as the Raiders rolling to a 29-7 win. Did you get the joke? Las Vegas rolling? No? Okay. Jacoby Myers with the fun celebration as we head down to H-Town. CJ Stroud, if you can hear me, please save us. The Jaguars are 6-2. We need them to start losing games. The bad news is Trevor Lawrence connected in the end zone on this play for a Jaguars touchdown. The good news is Jacksonville is losing 14-10. When I saw the initial highlight, I figured, oh dear, Jacksonville's winning. I don't know why we got a highlight from them since they're down, but whatever. Here's a look at all your scores across the rest of the NFL. As for this game, it's been exciting. I give the defense credit. We started off slow. The Jets scored 2 early touchdowns, but minus the first 4 minutes of the game, they really have not had a lot going for them on offense. Both teams have fumbled it. The Jets have a blocked kick at the end of the half. Joe Flacco's been pretty solid, as has Quinshon Judkins, who's averaging nearly 8 yards a carry. And we do start with the ball in the second half. A nice opportunity for the offense to try to get rolling. The offense was fine in the first half. I wouldn't say they were good, but certainly not horrible either. Flacco looking deep. Fannin climbs the ladder. Harold Fannin Jr. What a catch! He gains 32 yards, bringing it to the Jets' 32. I apologize, Harold. I did not know you had that in your bag, young king. Here's Judkins. He's going to lose yardage there on first down. Quick response for the Jets. Jermaine Johnson with the tackle. 2nd and 11. Flacco is sacked. First of the game for the Jets. It is Derek Nottie who brings him down. That'll make it a 3rd and 18 at the 40. Not quite in field goal range. Kind of no man's land. Well, the decision got a little bit easier. There's Quinnen Williams bringing down Flacco. Back-to-back sacks for the Jets. And Cleveland's going to have to punt it away. Luckily, we have a demon as our punter in Corey Bojorquez. The Jets will start at the 6. Fields on first down, under pressure, looks to run with it, and he is sacked. The rookie, Carson Swessinger, brings him down. I thought Garrett was going to get off his block with Membu and get the safety. Not quite, but still a sack and still a loss of yardage. 2nd and 11. Here's Fields. Happy feet in the pocket. He is sacked. There he is. It's Myles Garrett. 2 hands for safety. He beats Membu. He sacks Fields in the end zone. And the lead has been cut in half as it's 14-12. Flacco, play action here from the 36. Looking deep. Wide open, Isaiah Bond to the 39. Good to see him getting some more reps with the departure of Deontay Johnson. 2nd and 8 now at the 37. Cleveland got to this part of the field on the last drive and stalled. We've got to get a first down here. It's Ford with a block inside the 15, the 10, the 5, all the way to the 3. 34 yards for Jerome Ford. Flacco's numbers this afternoon are quite solid. Overall, he has played a pretty good game, minus those couple of sacks on the last drive. 1st and goal. Judkins thrown down. Derek Nottie. It's a loss of around 4. 3rd and goal now at the 7. Judkins remains in the game. He's taken more than half of the RB1 snaps today as Tony Adams is in there with the blitz. Flacco has to get rid of it, throwing it into his offensive lineman's butt. Here is the field goal. Dustin Hopkins, his kick is good from 24. Hopkins now 2 for 3, including a block this afternoon as the Browns take the lead. 15-14, our first lead of the game. That's 15 unanswered. From the 24, play action. Fields lobs it up, and he is intercepted. Back-to-back games with a pick for the Warden. Denzel Ward to the 32. The Jets' offense has completely fallen flat on their face. They had 14 points 3.5 minutes into the game. Since then, they've done nothing. Justin Fields has not completed a pass since the first quarter. It's been bad. These guys are not moving it at all. 2nd and 6 at the 28. Here's Quinshon Judkins up the middle. Big run for the rookie out of Ohio State by way of Ole Miss as he gets it to the 14-yard line for a gain of 14. Browns in the red zone. We were not able to capitalize last time. Flacco under pressure. It's intercepted. Ball don't lie, I guess. Jamie and Sherwood with the pick. Flacco had a lot of pressure on his blind side. He was looking short. I guess he didn't see Sherwood in the area as the Jets get it right back. That's consecutive possessions with an interception as Fields throws it up on 2nd down, and he is intercepted. Grant Delpit's got it for the Browns on the return to around the 42. Back-to-back-to-back drives with interceptions. These two defenses, particularly the DBs, are on fire. The two quarterbacks, meanwhile, are burning down the kitchen. Ball really doesn't lie. From the 35, 3rd and 3, Judkins again the running back. Flacco looks to throw it, surveys the field, and he is sacked. He had an open man in the slot. I think Thrash won his rep early, but Will McDonald and Quinnen Williams are both there to bring him down. McDonald will get full credit with the sack, and Cleveland has to punt it away. Jets back with it from the 5. Fields under pressure. Sacked again! Another safety! Malik Collins brings him down. That'll make it 17-14. This third quarter might be the worst quarter of quarterback play, that's a tongue twister, I've ever seen in my entire life. Both of these guys have been dreadful. Flacco gets it to Fannin with a juke move to the 49-yard line. Good play after the catch there by Fannin, who does run a really good route. That's been the issue with him this year. 3rd and 7 at the 48. Flacco backs up in the pocket. His pass is broken away for Jabari Thrash. The Jets get the stop, and that will wrap up an interesting third quarter. The Browns outscored the Jets 7-0 with 2 safeties and a field goal. I feel like that's the perfect description of this quarter. These 2 QBs were horrible. Joe Flacco with an interception. He took a really bad third down sack. Justin Fields said, "What you can do, I can do better." He was sacked in the end zone twice and threw 2 interceptions. Fields has not thrown a completion still since the first quarter. But what he has done well is run with it. Fields brings it to the 37-yard line, well over the century mark in yardage. Even though he hasn't thrown it well, he has been dynamic with his legs. Following play, Breece Hall up the middle, bounces off a blocker. Hall churning out yards as he gets a dozen. Breece Hall looked really good early in the game. Kind of quieted down since, I guess correlated to the Jets offense not playing as well. Braylon Allen up the middle. 17 years old, he gets it to the 7-yard line, and the Jets are really pushing closer to this end zone. On the read option, it's Fields. Walks the red carpet in for his score. The Jets in the end zone for the first time in nearly 30 minutes, which, to be fair, it's better than the streak they had going into the week of nearly a month. Browns get it back. 6:20 to go, down by 4. Jerry Jeudy on first down, gains 11. That'll move the chains for the Browns. Just don't try to do too much. Consistency through the air. We still have time to run it. Look at all that room. Judkins to the 39. The offensive line up front, particularly the run blocking, has been really good, but I give Judkins credit. He's continuing to really improve. On the comeback route, pass is broken up. Brandon Stevens got a hand on it. He was looking for Isaiah Bond. 4th and 10. Offense will stay on the field. Flacco up the middle. No, it's jarred away by Jamie and Sherwood. The Jets get the stop. They'll look to chew clock for as much as this 3:38 as they can. 2nd and 10. Fields to Taylor. Finally a completed pass. For the first time since the first quarter, the Jets have completed a pass. It's honestly a miracle that stat exists, yet they're still winning. Under 3 minutes to go, they are officially chewing clock. Breece Hall to the right side with blocks. Gets the first. We try to tackle him out of bounds, but the side judge says he's in, and a good job by Breece Hall to not go out of bounds, forcing the Browns to use a timeout. At the 31, read option. Fields with plenty of room. Juke move. Fields gets 10. Another first down for New York as the Browns continue to use their timeouts. First down ends it following the 2-minute warning. Fields up the middle. They're going to give it to him. Justin Fields with the first down, wrapped up by a couple of former Buckeyes, Ronnie Hickman and Denzel Ward. And that will do it. The Jets kneel out the clock. We were out of timeouts. New York wins it 21-17, and the Browns fall to 2-7, losing their first game off the bye. This was certainly an interesting game. The quarterback play across the board was pretty nasty. I mean, there really was not a lot going for either of these offenses, and to think the Jets led early, 14-0 within the first few minutes of the game, their offense completely stalled the rest of the way, but because of their big lead, they had enough cushion to still win it. Of the 2 QBs, I mean, at least Joe Flacco was able to throw the ball forward. Took some bad sacks at the interception in the third. He certainly was not great, but he wasn't completely awful outside of the third quarter. Justin Fields started the game 5 of 6. After that, over the last 3 quarters, he went 1 for 8. 2 interceptions, just not good as a passer. But he was excellent on the ground, 13 for 135. Did have a fumble. Breece Hall was also really good, 16 for 94. Our run defense has regressed significantly from the start of the year to now. I don't know what happened. Judkins, 11 carries compared to 6 for Ford and 4 for Sampson. I think that shows where Cleveland's allegiance lies for the RB1 spot. 5 for 53 and a score for Njoku, leading the way. Neither team had anyone with more yards because, well, I mean, at least in the case of the Jets, they weren't throwing the ball. Only one player caught the ball more than once. Shout out Denzel Ward on the outside. Shout out the recently extended Greg Newsome on the outside. Overall, I thought our defense played a really good game, minus the opening roughly 5 minutes or so. We continued to send a lot of pressure and then plenty of turnovers both ways. Delpit, Ward, Sherwood with interceptions. Both teams forced and recovered fumbles, and the Jets even blocked a kick. I mean, there was no shortage of action in this game from all the big plays by the defenses and the special teams. As we take a look at our scores across the rest of the NFL, We'll start at MetLife. 2-6 Browns, 2-6 Jets. This game fully had the makings of a tank bowl, and with both teams currently projected to finish towards the very top of the draft, I mean, this game reiterated that these teams may very well look at a quarterback in the first round, with Kieran Riddle from Alabama, Brendan Holloway from Notre Dame, and Zarius Stone from Ole Miss, all likely to play in the college football playoff. I'm excited to watch those games in full. 6-3 Giants, 5-3 Bears. The Darty party continues. It's Jackson Dart's world. We're living in it. 45-24. Dart with nearly the same amount of incompletions, 5, as he had touchdowns, 4. The Giants are now 7-3. Jacksonville and Houston. The Jags 6-2. Remember, they were down at halftime. Well, unfortunately, the Texans blew it for us in the second half. Another touchdown for Travis Etienne. At least my fantasy teams are cooking with him. 27-21 win for Jacksonville. They are now 7-2 this year as we take a look at our weekly recap across the rest of the NFL. Some interesting results here. 35-6, New Orleans throttles Carolina. So with both New Orleans and the Jets winning, we stand solely at the bottom of the standings with 2 wins. And if the season ended today, we would have the #1 pick. Meanwhile, at the top of the standings, the Ravens lost their very first game of the year, 35-21 against J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. So no unbeaten season for Baltimore. As for the players of the week, here in Week 10, we've got Alvin Kamara, Jacoby Myers, Jalen Walker, who is tied for the NFL lead in sacks with 15, along with Max Crosby. Let's go back to the Ravens real quick, losing their first game of the year to Minnesota. Got to imagine they're going to play this next game pissed off. I would not like to be the team who has them on the schedule. Oh, great. It's us. So with 8 games left to go and the team currently now with a record of 2-7, we're really going to start to spend a lot of time on the prospect profiles within this draft class. That's what we're going to mainly focus on over the next couple of episodes. And if not a prospect profile, we're going to have a lot of double headers and triple headers. Being 2-7, is it time to potentially consider a quarterback switch, replacing Joe Flacco, who did not play very well this most recent game against the Jets? I'm curious to hear some thoughts down below in the comments. That'll wrap up today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm excited to get through the rest of Season 1 faster, especially with NBA 2K now out. I can start to, again, put a lot more time into this series. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hype the video if you've not as well already. Peace out.